come in, come in. Welcome to Main Squeeze, where we put the please, please, please in squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And we also got a cease and desist, so I am legally obligated to let you know we are not affiliated with Sabrina Carpenter or her team. But thank you for coming in. Have you ever been to the Main Squeeze before? No? Okay, great. We are a artisanal, handmade, elevated lemonade shop. So I will be your mixologist today, your lemonologist today. We're trying to come up with a fun phrase for that, so if you have any ideas, let me know. And you said you've never been here before, right? Okay. My sister's the owner, and I really believe in this business, but I think she's made some choices along the way, so I'll kind of give you the inside scoop because I want to make sure you have just the best experience possible. So we'll be having lemons today with your lemonade. Yes. Okay, perfect. This is your hand selected half lemon. We like to give the customer the opportunity to view said lemon before we really get into the process. So I will be cutting this into a couple extra slices for you. I trailed off there, but I'm just gonna cut this into a few extra slices, especially a garnish piece for you. You can not see the knife, so I will be doing that below the counter. For your garnish, are you envisioning some thin strips? I do recommend a couple thin, so I will save some of those for you. Yeah, my sister said the glass bowls that this come in is basically the same thing as, a real cutting board, so that is what we're working with down here. A lot of the decisions she's made to make this a little more efficient while we're starting up, I find a little silly, but that's that clanging you're hearing. So this is your lemon sliced up into all the pieces we'll be using for today's lemonade. Our first step of our process is always extracting the most flavor we can possibly get. That's why you'll see we do save these pith pieces because they are just full of zest that we can add at the end. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to take your cup, which another thing we're being sued for is we are not affiliated with Mellow or any of the other labels on any of our jars. Again, my sister is just trying to cut costs, so we haven't gotten around to making our own quite yet. So my first step in this process will be pulling out these seeds, and we'll actually drop them straight in to the jar because you won't be eating any seeds, obviously, but they do tend to hold a large impact on flavor. So I'm just looking through the larger slices of your personal lemon, and then we have a couple in here, so I will just remove that. There we go. And then one more into the jar. And then, okay, those are the last of the lemon seeds. We will just take you a 4. That's a very good number. I'm going to use the pith and go around the inside here just to kind of seal in the juices. And then we will just do little swirl, 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 swirl. Yeah, take a whiff here. Yeah, see how aromatic and lemony that is. So let's dump that out. And then anytime I need to retrieve like this piece of lemon seed, I use the pith to go in and retrieve it, just so we're leaving as much zest in the wake of items as possible. Right? Okay. This one is tricky, but I got it. An extra pith swipe just for funsies. So now you have your ultra infused lemon cup, and I will assess these larger chunks for one of the better rinds. This one is promising. This one's a tad on the smaller end, and yeah, this one is also a tad on the smaller end. I feel like we are having the most color, curve, and excitement from this piece, so I'm going to hand juice this lemon wedge for you. Here we go. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. I'm just going to rip out the excess skin and leave us with this lovely rind. The rind holds a lot of flavor, so I'm going to invert that and just squeeze out any of that excess skin juices I can, and we will leave that in the jar. Kind of our best piece will stay there as a space. You can kind of hear all that squeezing out. And then let's take the rest of our lemons and just add, yeah, this is a nice juicy lemon here. Oh, we did get an extra seed that we didn't find earlier. That's great. That means you have a 5-seeder. That's gonna be lovely. Let me just remove the excess skin from this piece. And then extra squeeze. And then we can use this pith to remove this seed. There we go. And then I'll just, yeah, we'll let this ferment in all of these rinds. Basically going from best rind to least juicy rind to make sure the ones that are most important get the most face time. And there we go. Another squeeze. Okay. And then again, you know, ripping out the skin really allows us to get the absolute most out of our lemons. One more left. There we go. And pulling out the skin. Okay, so as you can see, we have a significant portion of lemon wedge in here. I am seeing a seed, so let me see if I can remove that. There we go. And these are semi-porous, so at this point we will, you might have heard that I squeezed out any excess lemon juice that may have been absorbed, and then can discard those. So I'm gonna go wipe off my hands. She also hasn't invested in paper towels, so we use tissues, which is weird, to say the least. But just cleaning up my workstation a bit. We are looking great. That is a wonderful amount of juice. Okay, what kind of water base can I interest you in today? We have still, sparkling, tap, and we also expanded into milk, which will start to make sense as we get further, but I would not recommend milk if that's okay with you. Honestly, I think the tap really lets everything shine. Tap is great. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour a small amount of tap water here. There we go, starting to look like lemonade. And then this will be our first stir with a spoon my sister stole from Panera. She did steal it when she was in college, so she probably should have known better, but didn't. But stolen spoon, and it's one of her other cost-cutting measures. Okay, so that is our first stir. And now, here's where the artificial sweeteners or visual street sweeteners come in. My top recommendation to you would be a honey sweetened lemonade. I feel like it adds a very natural taste to it. It's very subtle, and it's honestly one of the best ones we have in stock. I have white sugar in the back. Are you interested in white sugar? No. Brown sugar? No. Great. And then this is where the milk came in. This is hot chocolate powder. We could do a chocolate lemonade if you want. You don't want it. You really don't want chocolate lemonade. Yeah, that was something my sister came up with, the Sabrina Carpenter thing, the hot chocolate thing. I mean, it was nice in the winter, but we were just selling hot chocolates, and it gets confusing when people decide to order chocolate milk-based lemonade, and there's still lemon in there, and it curdles and just tastes disgusting. So and then we have, so here's another cost-cutting measure my lovely sister has come up with. These are not all vanilla flavor, but we do have 3 imitation vanilla containers. I don't know how we ended up like this, but one of these is vanilla. I guess I'll have to do a sniff test. It's a bit embarrassing, but you know, whatever she wants. This one is vanilla, so we can do vanilla flavoring. Don't do a vanilla flavoring. It's not good. We could do, what is this one? Oh, this is essence of orange, which does complement, but it sometimes is overkill. We could pair this with the honey if you're interested. No? Okay. Good choice. And then this one must be my favorite. Yes, this is the lavender scented flavoring. Oh, and then one thing that is in its correct bottle, again from the hot chocolate fiasco of the summer, is the caramel flavoring. Honestly, I would just go with straight honey if I was you. I think it's a more authentic experience, especially for your first time. But would you like caramel in your lemonade? No, that's what I thought. So we'll just do a bit of honey. There we go. Lovely. And then I will stir this honey in. We do this without the full water in, just because it's easier to stir. And it requires a more vigorous stir, especially for our natural sweeteners like honey. Okay, that is a really thorough mix. Lovely, lovely, lovely. And then I will drop in one of your thin slices of lemon, and then these other 2 will be left for the top of the beverage. Now you get to choose your ice. We have cubed ice, a more sturdy ice, some thicker ice cubes, or crushed, crunchy ice. Yeah, I think the thicker ice cubes will be great in this drink. Okay, let me just have these. I'm just gonna pull over a few. We just want to make sure the whole thing is iced. And then your one garnish slice, sorry. And then we'll top off with the rest of the water. There we go. And then with your final garnish slice, I will do a lap around and drop it in. This is your main squeeze lemonade. I think it looks amazing. I think you're gonna love it. Please make sure to write us a review if you can. My name is Aves, and I hope you come back and maybe don't try anything funky. Come back when I work. I work Wednesdays. Yeah, okay. Thank you for you. Thank you so much for coming, and have a great rest of your day. Bye.